Good morning, everybody. It's your girl Miracle Sims, and you are listening to God, Sex, and Love. Your daily dose of inspirational juice. It is October the 25th, 2022, and today the topic is Blessed Are the Barren. Blessed are the barren, y'all. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Tuesday, everybody. I hope that you all had a great Monday. Mine was just fine. Uh, I guess it felt like the weekend for me. I feel like things are almost back to Norman, as the Rugrats would say. Um, because your girl, again was working over the weekend. And so, yeah, I was trying to get a little bit of rest yesterday and whatnot. But outside of that, it was just normal stuff, you know, uh, chit chatting, communicating, you know, uh getting some things done, getting some things together. So I'm excited for the things to come, putting some things in place, perhaps more content for GSL and everything like that. So yeah, y'all, be on the lookout. Be on the lookout for much more coming down the line if the Lord's will. Um, yeah, not too much to report or anything from yesterday. So let's go ahead and get into this chat. Let's talk about blessed are the barren. um, well, long story short, I woke up this morning after a rather interesting dream. I wrote it all down and what I could remember. And but yeah, when I looked up the clock this morning, it was 2:35, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it was 2:35. And so, of course, I looked up the Bible verses centered around that X, Y, and Z. Um, and I don't think I tried to go back to sleep. I think I just stayed up and looked at a couple of things, checking up on stuff online. Oh yeah, communicating with the dream team because we really trying to get this guy's book, together, decent and in order. Like there's just some things off about um the layout right now. So so I was chit chatting with the team about that. And yeah, so that's pretty much what was going on and whatnot before my alarm went off. And then, yeah, did my prayer meditation, everything like that. Um, I don't know if I was distracted or what. I don't know if I would say that. I think I just was, I guess maybe mentally all over the place a little bit. And so I started looking up verses centered around a lot of different things. But eventually I kind of went back to the concept of 2:35 and I went back and looked at those verses. And because one was standing out to me, and it was this one right here. It was 1 Samuel 2:35. It says, "And I will raise me up a faithful priest that shall do according to that which is in mine heart and in my mind, and I will build him a sure house, and he shall walk before mine anointed forever." So I'm like, okay, that sounds like some good news and whatnot. Now I don't know anything about female priests and stuff like that. I don't know if the Lord's telling me, that I'm one of them or not. I don't know. But I'm just saying it stood out to me this morning as I was reading that. And so I went back to that this morning and I ended up reading the entire First Samuel 2. So that is in the Go Deeper section for those that need to do that. But yeah, I ended up reading that entire account and I came across Hannah, the name Hannah. And so eventually I started looking up verses centered around her. And the interesting thing about Hannah's story, there was at one point she was barren. And her husband gave her a double portion because he loved her in spite of her being, barren at X, Y, and Z. But I just found it to be very interesting this morning as I was reading and reflecting. I was like, wait, her response to being barren was just totally opposite of the way that we view pregnancy and having children and all those things. Now, the women of the Bible, anytime one was talking about they was barren or whatnot, you ain't see too many people excited about that. You know what I mean? Majority of the women that was quote unquote barren, they were praying to God, seeking the Lord, wanting to have children. And now we're in this day and age that does the complete opposite. So much so where I know I was reminded yesterday, I ended up watching this video. I did share it on the Guy Sex and Love Facebook. Uh, it was all about sexual, um, what's it called? Like sex magic or something like that. And so I was like, oh, what's going on? And so I ended up watching it, and it was rather good. So I shared it with you all. I mean, yeah, there's some profanity and whatnot, but I mean, most of the people that are following here are adults. So, I think you can listen to it and omit or, not be disturbed by the little bit of profanity that was in it, because there was a lot of interesting wisdom and knowledge regarding, this whole practice of sex magic, and maybe it's deeper than we all think. So that's something to look into if you're not familiar with that. There is a video again on the Guy Sex and Love Facebook. But yeah, so I watched that last night, and in it was talking about one of the rappers. There's a female rapper lately that has a song all about abortion, and I guess in front of the Planned Parenthoods, and talking about how she not gonna have no baby daddy and all these different things. And that's the vibe, right? That is the vibe of the women of today, versus the women of the Bible that I was reading about this morning. And so I just found that interesting, that came back into my heart and mind. And I'm like, okay, interesting. So I started looking up verses around Barren and all these different things. And this is what I came across, y'all. This is what I came across. So 1 Samuel 1:20 says, and in due time, Hannah conceived and bore a son, and she called his name Samuel, for she said, I have asked for him from the Lord. So again, this is a little glimpse at Hannah. Again, you guys can read the entire account by on your own, but this is a glimpse at how she faced being barren, like how she faced not conceiving, not bearing fruit, all these different things. But then I came across this. It's in Luke 23:29. It says, for behold, the days are coming when they will say, blessed are the barren and the wombs that never bore and breasts that never nursed. Ooh, now, y'all, I don't know what y'all think of that, but if that don't sound like today, I was like, ooh, that sounds like right now. That sounds exactly like how people are talking these days. And the interesting thing about it, like when I went deeper about that particular verse, come to find out that was some red letters. That was something that Jesus said on the way to the cross, which was another crazy thing. I'm like, whoa, like he had a moment to tell the women that, I guess the women that was crying for him and whatnot, he was saying, don't cry for me, basically. Cry for yourself, basically. And he said that right there. And I'm like, wow, that's something. That's a little prophetic word that we are seeing today. If y'all are, all the eyes and ears that have the eyes to see and hear. But here's something for all of us to keep in our minds, y'all. Isaiah 5:20, it says, woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. So, I mean, that puts things into perspective, at the end of the day, like, there might be this big push to be barren, right? Be barren in that. And here's a deeper thought that I came across this morning. It's not, yes, I believe that this thought about children is very important as well. But I'm wondering about like being barren in any aspect. Like I was thinking about that as well. Like this goes for men and women, right? We can be barren when it comes to like not giving birth to the things that God has put in our hearts and minds to do, right? His will, his way, all those different things. So that's just a deeper way to think about it. But I'm like, I don't know. Like I didn't define the word barren today. So if anybody got to do that for themselves, add that to the go deeper section for yourself to do if you're not familiar with the word barren. But as far as I know, barren has never been looked at as a great thing or good thing. To be barren. And so like whether you're barren when it comes to child or children, or if you're barren when it comes to things of the Lord and your talent, whatever the case is. Because that was another thing too. Like if I go back to that first verse that I was thinking of this morning, and when I read that entire 1 Samuel 2, it was talking about some men that basically, I guess, like they were out of order, like they were doing some things wrong and whatnot. And so that's that verse that I read earlier was saying that I will raise me up a faithful priest that shall do according to that which is in mine heart. This is what the Lord is saying. And in my mind, and he would build them a sure house, X, Y, and Z. Y'all can go back and read that entire verse on your own, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it can be, again, this can go both ways, but in my opinion, this can go for whether you bear fruit, physically with children, or if you bear fruit spiritually with the things of the Lord. Let's not be barren on today, regardless of this new push for to bless the barren and to have this other alternative mindset regarding things like this. uh, you know, Actually, one of the verses in the Go Deeper section is from Genesis. And one of our one of the Lord's first commandments for us is to go out here and bear fruit. Again, whether that's physical, actual children, or whether that's, bearing the spiritual fruit of the Lord. If you ain't out here bearing fruit, then friend, you are barren, and in spite of what people may be trying to push in these days, that's not a good thing, and that's the juice. That is the juice, y'all. But the Bible verse of today is Psalm 28:7. It says, "The Lord is my strength and my shield. My heart trusteth in him, and I am helped. Therefore my heart greatly rejoices, and with my song I will praise him." Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. And there you go. Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, anybody listening to the sound of my voice, I hope that you all are encouraged and inspired to bear some fruit out here, y'all. Let's not be like this verse is saying to those women. Let's not be this topsy-turvy world is just very interesting. It's very interesting that there's so many different things that are like that exactly what the Bible says. Some things are exact, and then some things are kind of like in the ballpark of, or maybe it looks a little differently than what we imagine it is. But again, either way, right? Either way, this idea of being barren is not good, and according to the Bible, right? And stuff like that. And so, as believers, hey, let's be out here bearing fruit, X, Y, and Z. If you're not a believer and stuff like that, I guess that's another thing. You got to get your relationship with Christ together and stuff like that. I don't know. But I don't know. That was just very interesting. Like, both aspects of that this morning for me was interesting to reflect on. So I thank God for giving me that, because at one point I was like, well, Lord, is it a freestyle day? Am I thinking about it? Is there anything you want me to talk about today? But yeah, this came to my heart and mind, and I was like, okay, well, I don't know if it's pulp or what, but that's the juice for today. I'm almost done with this journal, y'all. I think this is my 5th journal. No, this is the 4th one. This is the 4th one thus far. So yeah, man, your girl's almost done with my juice journal. I think I might use it because I have a copy of it here. I think I might use the Spanish version next, just because. I'll be showing y'all that one next time, when I get done with this one. But all right, y'all. Well, thank you all so much for listening, watching, subscribing, sharing, all those wonderful things. Again, be on the lookout for more content coming from GSL. Got some things in the works I'm very excited about, and we'll see what the Lord do with all of this. But y'all have a great, great Tuesday, and I look forward to talking to y'all tomorrow if the Lord's will. Bye-bye.